My cable broke inside my Shimano 105 shifter. In this video I'll show you what's involved in replacing the cable, and as we go along I'll show you what tools and supplies you need to get this done. And let's get started with the damage first. As you can see from the close-up here, as the cable is severed off or broke off here about an inch end from its anchor, and the reason for it is because it takes a severe bend inside the mechanism here, and I will explain ways to mitigate it or make it better so it's less likely to break off like this. However, they will all break because that's a severe bend here in the cable that no amount of lubrication is going to resolve. It's a geometric problem or a design problem with the cable. So take a look at the wires in the cable here. Where the wire ends broke off, you can see they are of different length. Many of them seem to be of about the same length, but you can see notably some are shorter, like this one here, or if I rotate it around you can see that here's another one that's shorter. So it is possible that some of the wires here be longer and they match up to those wires, but most likely, and this is the point, some short pieces of broken off wires are probably inside the mechanism that you need to check visually, physically, and pick it out of the mechanism. So also in this video I'll take this one apart and we'll show you the ratcheting mechanism inside that you need to inspect and clean. Blowing compressed air through is not going to help. It will only blow out the lubricant that will actually need to stay in place to lubricate the ratcheting mechanism inside. Is not going to blow out the broken wire bits that you may have there. This cable lasted 1 year and 3 months, and as I have spoken to a number of mechanics, they tell me that this is a reasonable length of time for this cable to last. Replacement options include, and this is an OptiSlick cable with some kind of a plastic coating, a fairly reasonably thick plastic coating that aids in the cable reducing friction as it glides through the cable's jacketing. That's why they coat it. There is a stainless steel uncoated version available for $4. This one is $12 to $15, and there is a polymer coated $25 to $30 North American option also available, and the polymer coating is thinner than the coating on this, than the plastic coating on this OptiSlick. And the $4 version, uncoated, of course, is the lightest, so this would be the heaviest cable. Now, inside the sleeve here, there's no moisture getting to it. In a system where you have just one jacketing that runs from the shifter all the way down to the derailleur down there on the rear wheel. So, if moisture ingress is not an issue for you, you can go with the $4 uncoated stainless steel. It still is going to last a long time, but it doesn't matter what material it's made of or what coating it has. This severe bend will ruin any and all of them. The coating only has to do with the amount of friction that it takes for the cable to slide as shifting is being done, or glide or move along the cable jacketing. So if shifting effort is not the same as pedaling effort, completely different things. So but if you think that shifting effort or lack of shifting effort that needs to be exerted is gonna help you propel your bicycle faster, go for a polymer coating because that's the slipperiest or offers the least amount of cable resistance. Or you can try the OptiSlick, or you can try the uncoated one and see how that works for you. So that's the broken cable. The new cable, very straightforward. Oh, I forgot to point out that they have an SD, I guess Shimano derailleur, embossed or cast into the, okay, that would be the letter S and the letter D in the anchor end of the cable. And the letter D would be, of course, this way here. There it is. Okay, so that's how the anchor end looks like. And in a system where you don't wait for the cable to completely sever off, but even if it just starts fraying and some wires are broken. There is a potential that broken wire bits be inside the mechanism, but either which way, lacing in the new cable is fairly straightforward. Push it in on one side, comes out on the other side, and lace it through or guide it through the cable jacketing. It needs one more piece of plastic that I'm gonna show you how it works with the cable housing there, or the shifter housing there. And so pushing the cable through, that doesn't need talent. Bring it out at the derailleur. I'll show you the mechanism that it goes through, and tighten one bolt. The bolt specifications or torque specifications will be mentioned in the video description below. So far what's been done here is, of course, the shifter comes with a rubber shroud that's kinda here still somewhat connected, and it's been removed with a good old putty knife here. It snaps into these recesses here on the shifter, this one here on the side, and it's a tough piece of rubber. You can kinda see some of these bits inside that help align it. So that's the putty knife bit. Next one, in search of the broken bits, this bolt needs to be removed here. That mounts the whole shifter. It's a 5mm Allen key or hex key. Yeah, 5mm, and I'll show you the washer that this one has. That's the bolt end that kind of stays on the handlebar, and there is a washer here that is flat on one side, with the flat side here faces the shifter's body, and this cambered side faces the bolt head. Look at the camber side, or this raised side there. That's how it looks like. Okay, so that's how they go together. Let me just put it back quickly so I don't lose it on the floor or whatever, just for now. Good enough. So what I have here, of course, the brake cable is still attached, so I've removed this rubber shroud or cover, and there is this little plastic tab here that is just friction fit there, but as soon as you push the cable through it, it kind of opens up there. Very straightforward. So that's how the cable gets laced in the shifter, and then the cable will run in this space here, in this channel here, going out this way. The little plastic piece that's missing looks like this. It's not missing, I just have it here. It has a tab in it, and it runs, this tab runs and lines up with this channel. So this is how it goes together. And it goes in this general direction. Yep, and it goes this far, and the cable, of course, goes in from this side, and the anchor end will sit there. It comes out here, it takes a bend, lace it through there, and of course it's gonna go through the jacketing through like so, and there it's fitted back together and bolted to a height that you like. Now, important here, the cable sheared off at this point here inside the shifter, but you have to make sure that the jacketing here is not longer than necessary, but long enough so you can fully turn the handlebar fully to the right and fully to the left. Turning it to the left will make it buckle or whatever, if anything, so but fully to the right, so you have enough length in this jacketing here that that isn't interfering with turning the handlebar and the safe operation of the bicycle. So that's important with placing and routing this, because it's going to be taped to the underside of the handlebar like so. Obviously, I forgot to mention, the bar tape here has been removed, and you're going to have to wind it back on and place it back on. On the just before I take the shifter apart for showing you the mechanism inside for removing the little broken wire bits, I just want to mention that as the cable runs down to the derailleur down there, the end of the jacketing looks like this, of course, same as the front end, and it has a another piece of plastic item here that's on it, so as the wire comes through it, you're gonna have to feed it through this little component there in about this direction. So this is how this looks like, very straightforward, and there's nothing much to it, but the cable ends need to be intact, the wire ends need to be perfectly circular and undeformed, uncompressed. They can be a little furled or fuzzled a little bit like that, that's okay. And there, so that's how it goes into the Derailleur's adjuster bolt, which is right here, So this is where this cable end is going to go through, and this is 3 pieces here, so I'll just drop that one. Look at this little cable tensioner mechanism. There are 3 pieces to it. A threaded bit, and the cable runs through it like so. There's a spring and there's this plastic housing here, so you're gonna have to adjust your derailleur and make sure it actually shifts, so the cable comes through there in the middle and gets tightened down to the bolt that's on the derailleur. Like I said, tightening torques are going to be in the video's description below. So tightening a bolt doesn't take a whole lot of talent, but adjusting the derailleur takes a little bit of TLC. That's a completely separate video. So this is just the hardware that's involved. Let's take a look at the last bit of hardware. Taking apart the shifter, but not completely apart, just for cleaning out the underside of this ratcheting mechanism. Very straightforward. Needs a Phillips #1 screwdriver, just like so, with this kind of tip, and one screw needs to be removed there. For this I need to kind of move the shifter or lever arm out of the way on the shifter, or lever on, depending on where you are, and then this small screw, if I don't drop it, is about, okay, I dropped it, it's about 5 millimeters long. I'll find it one day, I'm sure. I'm not gonna deal with it now. These plastic housing pieces, fit together like so. So this one piece comes away. This is how it looks like, and there's nothing much to it. I'll put it on the table where I don't step on it and don't crack it, because I kind of need them intact. And this is the second piece. I don't think they sell replacement plastic bits to the shifter. They sell, I think, just the whole shifter as is. So inside here, and I'm gonna grab this tweezer. Inside here you can see that the anchor end of the cable, come on in closer because my brake cable is not really long for this, there. So the anchor end of the cable is located here, and it's gonna run through there and gets wound on this drum with this groove on it. You can see this groove on this side of the drum here. Cable will exit here and run in this channel there. So this sheave, or this drum here with the groove, the sheave here is rotating as you shift, like so, one click at a time. And then if you want to go the other way around, maybe this way, so there's no shadow on it, and there it of course inches back to its original position. They're lining up this way, ready for cable placement in it. So where the broken bits of wire are, or potentially could be, are somewhere here around this sheave, so you're gonna have to pick it from here. It could be on these gear teeth, or it could be on the second set of gear teeth that are under this pawl. Take a look at this pawl again in operation. So this is shifting up like so. You can see the second set of gears, and you can see how the pawl is moving, engaging. It's a very simple, straightforward ratchet. So that's how this goes. You might be finding pieces of wire here in this space, whatever, you get the idea. Rotate it all the way check it everywhere here. Okay, there shouldn't be stray pieces of wire from the broken cable interfering with the operation. And just rotate it back the other way. The spring tension on the pawl is being released. Just showing you from this direction with this lever or lever there, and then this sheave here with the housing for the anchor returns back to this normal original position there. So that's how this looks like. That's what's involved. Now I'm gonna also lightly lubricate this cable, the new cable, and that's how it's gonna go in, that's how it's gonna be put together, because this part here is potentially exposed to weather. Even though the cable is coated, the cable is gonna get lubricated just lightly, and I'm gonna put it together and then reset or readjust the rear derailleur at the rear. Make sure that the shifting as it advances, one gear tooth at a time, it shifts the derailleur and is aligned with the teeth on the on the cassette actually, so the chain is tracking correctly on it. So that's gonna take some time, separate video. Thank you very much for watching. So that's what's involved. It's not rocket science, but it does take some TLC and some looking here to make sure everything is actually operating freely and there are no wire bits inside.